let's start the bulletin with the big question: who will succeed Jagdeep Dhankhar as the next vice president? As Delhi's political corridors are buzzed with new names, BJP chief JP Nadda has today met Ram Nath Thakur, who is a JDU leader, Rajya Sabha MP from Bihar, Minister of State for Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. He is also son of Karpoori Thakur, former Bihar Chief Minister, Bharat Ratna awardee, and one of the tallest socialist and OBC leaders of the country. Can the new VP be from Bihar? Can NDA's move decide Bihar poll political battle? It is all speculation currently. There is another name which has now come up for the VP post. I'm talking about Telangana Chief Minister Revanth Reddy batting for Bandaru Dattatraya. He is a veteran politician and Haryana Governor. Reddy stated that South India needs more representation and appointing Dattatreya would rectify the injustice done to Telangana and its OBC leaders by the central government. Take a look at the reactions coming in.
हमको तो ऐसा दिख रहा है कि दाल में कुछ काला है, नहीं तो उनका हेल्थ भी ठीक है। वो हमेशा तो आरएसएस और बीजेपी को इतना डिफेंड करते थे, शायद ही वो खुद आरएसएस और बीजेपी के लोग नहीं करते थे। इतना उनका यानी निष्ठा, लॉयल्टी उनके साथ थी। तो ऐसे वक्त में उन्होंने जो राजीनामा दिया है, इसके पीछे क्या है, कौन है और इसका कारण क्या है, देश को बताना चाहिए।
तो धनखड़ जी का रिजिग्नेशन अब किस लिए किया मुझे पता नहीं, वो अनफॉर्चुनेट वाइस प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया तेलंगाना को देना है, क्योंकि पिछले बार हमारे वेंकैया नायडू था, राष्ट्रपति बनाने के लिए चर्चा हुए, उनका अन्याय किए, वापस भेज दिए दिल्ली से। तेलुगु भाषा बोलने वाले को आप घर वापसी कर दिए। तो उसको सुधारने के लिए हमारे बंडारू दत्तात्रेय जी का खाली हरियाणा गवर्नर का जिम्मेदारी खत्म हो गए। साउथ और खासकर तेलंगाना में जितने भी ओबीसी है, सबका गला काट दिए एनडीए ने। सो साउथ माफ करने के लिए दत्तात्रेय जी को वाइस प्रेसिडेंट बनाया तो ठीक रहता है।
The row over Special Intensive Revision or SIR escalated in Parliament as the opposition held a black protest when the government refused to discuss the matter. Government sources said the government had argued that the Election Commission was holding the revision and it could not answer on behalf of the poll body. In such a situation, can the issue of revision of voter list be discussed? So the indication is it might not be. Rashtriya Janata Dal's Tejashwi Yadav has alleged that the Election Commission is taking its orders from the ruling BJP and in such circumstances, holding an election has become meaningless. Take a look at this report and the reaction coming in.
लगता है कि चुनाव आयोग कंप्रोमाइज हो चुका है।
लग तो यही रहा है, हमको बोलने में हिचक नहीं है। अब तक इलेक्शन कमिश्नर ने प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस नहीं की है, लगातार सुप्रीम कोर्ट की सलाह के बाद भी प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस नहीं की। देश में एक राज्य बिहार है जहां चुनाव हो रहा है और इतना बड़ा ड्राइव अचानक से शुरू किया गया। कई हमारे सवाल हैं, कई कन्फ्यूजन लोगों में है, जिसको आकर के एड्रेस करना चाहिए था इलेक्शन कमीशन को, वो उन लोगों ने नहीं किया। मजबूरन हम लोगों को अदालत का सहारा लेना पड़ा। जब आप जो है चुनाव ईमानदारी से कराइएगा ही नहीं, जो बीजेपी वोटर लिस्ट देगी आप उसी वोटर लिस्ट पे आप चुनाव कराइएगा, तो चुनाव का क्या मतलब? इलेक्शन कमीशन को बोल दे, एक्सटेंशन दे दे सरकार को। जब खोल के ही नंगापन आ गया इन लोगों में, बेईमानी कर रहे हैं, तो एक्सटेंशन दे दे। चुनाव क्यों करा रहे हो भाई?
पक्ष एक तरीके से इस पर भी आपस में बातचीत कर सकता है कि चुनाव का आप लोग बाइकआउट कर दें कि भाई अपने खुद से लड़ो और जो करना है।
नहीं, हो सकता है, इस बात पे भी चर्चा हो सकती है। वो हम लोग देखेंगे कि जनता क्या चाहती है और सब लोगों का क्या राय है।
ये सदन की परंपराओं के अनुरूप नहीं है।
From Parliament to Patna.
सदन चर्चा संवाद के लिए
A war over the Bihar voters list. India Bloc MPs led by Rahul Gandhi staged a protest outside Parliament. Inside the House, opposition MPs demanded a discussion on the special intensive revision of the voters list ahead of the polls, that the opposition has dubbed as hurried and flawed.
सिर्फ 52 लाख की बात नहीं है, सिर्फ बिहार की बात नहीं है। महाराष्ट्र में इन्होंने चीटिंग की, अब हम बिहार का पूरा सिस्टम नए तरीके से करेंगे, वोटर डिलीट करेंगे और नए तरीके से वोटर लिस्ट लाएंगे। हिंदुस्तान में इलेक्शन चोरी किए जा रहे हैं, ये रियलिटी है हिंदुस्तान की।
जो वोटर्स होते थे वो सरकार चुनती थी, आज उल्टा हो रहा है, अब सरकार में बैठे लोग वोटर चुन रहे हैं।
The government has been defending the exercise, saying it's the correction of the voters list, and the opposition has been disrupting parliament.
तो जो खुद वोटों की चोरी करता रहा हो, जिसका इतिहास रहा हो, वो दूसरों को ऐसा समझता है बीजेपी इसी नहीं है। लगातार 3 बार जो हार का हैट्रिक अजमा चुके हों जो लोग, वो हार के कारणों का अपना विश्लेषण नहीं करते, वो नए नए कारण ढूंढ लेते हैं। चुनाव के पहले उनको लग गया बिहार की नब्ज क्या है, जान गए कि बिहार की नब्ज मोदी जी का विकास चाहती है, तो ये मोदी जी का फोबिया है इनमें।
Voices of dissent have also emerged from within the NDA camp. BJP ally JDU MP questioned the process.
चुनाव आयोग जो है ना, उसको कोई क्या कहते हैं व्यवहारिक ज्ञान नहीं है। वो बिहार का न इतिहास जानता है, न भूगोल जानता है, कुछ जानता ही नहीं है। पार्टी के साथ हम तब हैं जब वोट डालने जाएंगे, बाकी मेरा तो कुछ स्वतंत्र विचार भी है ना। पार्टी को खिलाफ का क्या बयान है, सच्चाई यही है। अब सच्चाई भी नहीं बोल पाए तो एमपी बने काहे के लिए।
Opposition upped the ante as the Election Commission informed that a total of 56 lakh voters have been removed from the list. Of the 56 lakh names removed, 20 lakh are reported dead. 28 lakh voters have shifted to different constituencies and 7 lakh are enrolled at 2 places, while 15 lakh voters have still not submitted their forms. The Election Commission has assured that all eligible electors are included in the draft electoral roll to be published on August 1st. The panel has also said that a full 1 month will be available to any member of the public to file objections for any additions, deletions and rectification in draft electoral rolls. The issue also triggered a heated exchange in the Bihar Assembly, where Chief Minister Nitish Kumar and RJD leader Tejasvi Yadav crossed swords.
11 ऐसे डॉक्यूमेंट मांगे। पहले बता दे डॉक्यूमेंट के मामले में, चाहे मैट्रिक का हो, चाहे बर्थ सर्टिफिकेट हो, डेथ सर्टिफिकेट हो, बिहार सबसे फिसड्डी राज्य है डॉक्यूमेंट के मामले में। मात्र 2.3% जो है बिहार के लोगों के पास वो डॉक्यूमेंट है महोदय।
अरे काहे के लिए बोल रहे हो? जब उम्र तुम्हारा कम था, तुम्हारे पिताजी 7 साल मंत्री थे और उसके बाद तुम्हारी माता 7 फिर मंत्री रही, आज तुम मुख्यमंत्री रहे।
The voters list revision issue has rocked the Bihar election season. The opposition has been hoping to convert the voter sentiment by raking it, while the ruling coalition is using it to paint the opposition as supporters of illegal voters. Bureau Report, NDTV.
And now a man has been arrested by the UP ATS for running a fake embassy in Ghaziabad's Kavinagar, which falls under the National Capital Region, in plain sight, with no one suspecting a thing. High-end cars with diplomatic numbers, plates parked outside, diplomatic passports, pictures and state leaders and foreign currency was also seized by the cops during the raid. Take a look at the reactions coming in.
ये हर्षवर्धन KB 35 कविनगर में एक किराए के मकान में अवैध दूतावास चला रहा था और ये अपने आप को वेस्ट आर्टिका, सबोर्गा, पोल्विया, लोडोनिया और इसके अलावा अन्य भी कई देशों का एम्बेसडर बताकर लोगों से बात करता था। इसके पास से कुछ गाड़ियां भी बरामद हुई है जिनमें इसने डिप्लोमेटिक तरीके की नंबर प्लेट्स लगा रखी है जो किसी भी जगह से अप्रूव नहीं है। लोगों को प्रभाव में लेने के लिए, उनसे ठगी करने के लिए, उनके दलाली करने के लिए ये कई सारी मॉर्फ फोटोग्राफ का भी इस्तेमाल करता था, जिसमें इसने अपने आप का कई गणमान्य लोगों के साथ में मॉर्फ फोटो भी बना रखे।
Now to our focus on GST troubles for small traders in Bengaluru and Karnataka. Traders unions that were planning to go on a protest due to GST notices based on their UPI transactions met with Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah, who appeared to them to call off the strike and assured them of certain concessions. The traders have conceded to call off the strike on the 25th. According to the Chief Minister, he told the traders that those who sell products exempt from GST don't have to pay even if they have received the notices. Take a look at the reactions coming in.
Those who are having turnover of rupees more than 40 lakhs, such people were issued the notice. About 9,000 notices were issued. I have called the meeting of a small traders. They have agreed to withdraw the agitation which was called on 25th of this month.
Well, it seems like Mr. Siddaramaiah has for now managed to placate the stakeholders. He's also here convinced them not to hold the protest that was planned on the 25th. Now, we should note that over the last few days, many small traders were getting GST notices, and that too with arrears of about a couple of years, running into lakhs of rupees. Now, that is where, the apprehensions began, that whether it was the use of UPI that drew the attention of the GST officials and led to these notices being served, and many of them decided that they'll switch back to, only cash payments. And that led to a lot of panic on the streets. And a meeting, of course, being called by the Karnataka Chief Minister and several other stakeholders. And finally, a couple of things that has been decided here. One is that, those with arrears of about 2 to 3 years, these matters will not be pursued. Also, those who are indulging in a trade of commodities, which does not fall under the ambit of the GST, no notices will be served to them. He's also urged everyone to, of course, register under the ambit of the GST. And for now, they've all decided to call off the protest, is what the Chief Minister says. The politics, of course, over it has continued with the BJP attacking the Congress and the Congress attacking the BJP. Now we'll really have to see whether this is the end of this issue or whether it will again see a fallout on the streets.
And now another horrific case has been reported from Tamil Nadu. A 32-year-old woman died after she self-immolated and in a horrific dying declaration alleged that she was sexually assaulted by her father-in-law. The woman's family has alleged a case of dowry harassment as well, and a case has been registered in which the investigation is underway. The horrific dying declaration video of the woman brings to fore very disturbing realities. My colleague Sam Daniel is joining me with those details. Take a look.
A 32-year-old woman who set herself ablaze in the Ramanathapuram district of Tamil Nadu, alleging sexual and dowry harassment by her in-laws, has died. She suffered 70% burn injuries. She was taken to the Government Medical College Hospital in Madurai, but doctors could not save her. In a disturbing dying declaration captured on camera, the lady names her father-in-law of inappropriately hugging her and that she could not take it. Her minor son and her sister both echo her allegation. In fact, her sister claims that it's been a life of torture and harassment over the last 13 years since she got married, as her in-laws and her husband used to often harass her, demanding a housing plot and large sums of money from her family. They did not let her meet her family. Police have registered a case of suicide. At the moment, they say this will not come under Dowry Harassment Act, as the couple got married 13 years ago. But still, police say they would look at all aspects of this case. Just recently, another young lady, 27-year-old Ratna, died by suicide in Tirupur district just a few months after she got married. She alleged both financial, physical and mental torture by her husband and her in-laws, demanding large sums of money and gold, despite her family giving large amount of gold and a very expensive car. In Chennai, Sam Daniel, Find Your TV.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi is on his way to the United Kingdom, where he will sign the landmark free trade agreement with the UK, a landmark deal boosting bilateral trade by an estimated 25.5 billion euros by 2040. Signed on May 6, 2025, it slashes tariffs on 90% of British goods like whiskey and cars and 99% of Indian exports like textile and jewellery, promising job creation and economic growth. Take a look at this.
A whirlwind 4-day visit with 2 strategic pit stops, Prime Minister Narendra Modi travels to the UK and Maldives from July 23rd to the 26th, blending trade diplomacy with geopolitical recalibration. In London, Prime Minister Modi will sign a landmark India-UK free trade agreement, the first major post-Brexit deal for Britain and a big-ticket win for Indian exporters. The pact slashes tariffs on 99% of Indian goods headed to the UK while opening India's booming market to British cars, whiskey and more. 3 years of back and forth and now the ink on paper. The FTA promises to turbocharge bilateral trade and deepen the economic embrace between New Delhi and London. Beyond commerce, this visit signals stronger strategic alignment from cybersecurity to climate action and a shared vision for an open Indo-Pacific. From London, Prime Minister Modi heads to Male. He'll be the chief guest at the Maldives' 60th National Day, a symbolic gesture but one steeped in political meaning. This marks his first visit under President Mohammad Muizzu and the first since rocky diplomatic waters stirred by the India Out campaign and the island nation's pivot towards China. Once hailed as the cornerstone of India's neighbourhood first policy, ties with Male hit turbulence. Now Prime Minister Modi's trip is being seen as a reset, a chance to rebuild trust, reaffirm maritime cooperation and re-anchor India's strategic footprint in the Indian Ocean. President Muizzu's visit to India last year hinted at a thaw. Modi's presence now sends a strong message that despite differences, diplomacy endures. With Ridhima Kedia, Kargi Rawat for NDTV World.
And now, what is this free trade agreement that India and UK will sign during this visit? My colleague Vishnu Shom takes us with those details.
There are 6 key points on why this is a significant deal. Now, the free trade agreement and the double contribution convention mark a historic milestone in the India-UK comprehensive strategic partnership. It strengthens the foundation for long-term collaboration. Now, the agreements will significantly boost bilateral trade and investment between 2 of the world's largest open market economies, creating new business opportunities. By promoting trade in goods and services, the free trade agreement is expected to spur innovation and generate new employment opportunities in both India and the United Kingdom. The agreements deepen people-to-people connects through increased mobility. It fosters stronger cultural and economic bonds between the United Kingdom and India. The free trade agreement enables India and the UK to collaborate on developing products and services for global markets, enhancing their joint competitiveness on the world stage. The balanced and ambitious free trade agreement aims to raise the living standards and improve the overall well-being of people in both countries by reducing trade barriers and strengthening economic security. This aligns with the UK's plan for change and India's growth ambitions.
Gaura Sengupta, let's step back to the macroeconomic lens. The headline goal here is to double trade to $120 billion by 2030. So, based on current trends, how realistic is that and what sectors do you think will drive it?
I would stay away from trying to actually question the target. It's good to set targets. Whether we'll be able to achieve it is a combination of a lot of factors. Right now, the export market is very, very volatile. We've got tariff uncertainty unleashed by the current US regime. We are also facing a much slower global economy and a highly volatile environment. But what's good about the agreement, as the previous panelists mentioned, that almost 99% of Indian exports to the UK will become duty-free. India has also reciprocated on majority of its imports from UK, which will be around 90%, which will be duty-free. On a net basis, this will benefit India because we have a net trade surplus with the US. And also the fact that this agreement also covers some parts of the services segment, which is also key. This basically ensures or tells you that this is going to be the way forward. In a way, this is an unintended consequence of the Trump trade war that was unleashed by the US. Is the fact that it has given a sort of a momentum to bilateral trade agreements between countries with, let's say, excluding the US, but you are beginning to see that this year, India has been able to reach agreements bilaterally with many other trading partners, though these agreements were under discussion for years. These are not agreements that started the talks in 2025, which has been the case with the trade agreement with the US, but these agreements have been under discussions, under talks for years. And the good part is that you're going to see more such agreements. It also indicates that the tariff barriers is going to be much lower, especially for the merchandise exports. One, obviously, when you have lower import barriers, it also means your domestic industries will have to compete at a level with our external partners because you're not getting the tariff protection. So your companies will be forced to become more efficient, cost effective, better quality. Also, we'll have to move up the value chain.
Sure.
So all of this increased competition will spur that movement up the global value chain. So in a way, this is the right way to go. Rather than creating barriers, this is the sort of bilateral agreements that India is trying, especially with, let's say, the EU, which is a much larger trading partner for India. For example, UK is around 3% of our total exports. It is a significant partner, but it's 3% of our exports. So this is basically, I would say, a blueprint of what you can expect, and that what we are actually seeing with India's negotiation with other trading partners. What I would like to get to know is how they're going to manage the agriculture segment. In the case of the UK deal, it's not too much of an issue because the UK accounts for just 2% of our total agriculture exports. So it's not that big a problem. But how they tackle the agricultural exports with other countries, that is yet to be seen. That's one of the sticking points that we are hearing could be between the India and the US deal.
Absolutely, absolutely. Definitely a sticking point across the board, and thanks for that very nuanced perspective. Ajay Sahai, you speak to Indian exporters on ground every day. Which sectors do your members expect to benefit the most? Textiles, pharma, gems and jewelry, or are there any new winners in this deal?
In fact, if you look into the profile of India-UK trade, this is dominated by the services, unlike our overall trade, where merchandise sector account for roughly 55%, services 45%. In India-UK trade, services are dominant factor accounting for roughly 58% and goods around 42%. So we are seeing much more growth in exports, and that's why I firmly believe that the target of $120 billion is easily achievable, as in the services it's quite easy to clock the double-digit growth as against the goods exports. But when it comes to the goods exports, probably in the employment-intensive sectors, we will be much gainer, because whether it's footwear, whether it's textile, gems and jewelry, toys, sports goods, marine products, they are contributing a lot in India-UK trade. Though, of course, we are exporting auto component, organic and machinery also. So probably the labor-intensive sectors will gain a lot, but I'm also pinning my hopes on the services, not just on the IT and IT-enabled services, but financial services, professional services like architecture, engineering, as well as the other services. I'm pretty sure that with these kinds of growth in the services, probably the target will be quite easy for India to achieve so far exports are concerned.
Shifting our focus to Trump versus Howard Rao, the US State Department has launched an investigation into Howard University's role in the Federal Exchange Visitor Program. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said that the probe will assess whether Howard's conduct aligns with US national security and foreign policy interests. The Trump administration has made Howard a central focus of its campaign against what it calls radical left ideologies on US campuses. And on that note, we're slipping into a very short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be live tracking India and UK ties when Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrives in the UK.